Good morning, everybody. You're tuned to Computers 2K Now on the Nissan Communications Network. I'm Amnon, your host for the next couple of hours, along with Mr. Nick.
Hello. Good morning.
Hey, good morning. And Spence is here too.
You guys are in the same room, right?
Yeah.
So it's funny how you're like inches away from each other, but on the screen it looks like you might be in totally different places.
What do you mean we're inches?
We're at least 6 feet,
Yeah.
according to a
6
CDC
feet.
guideline.
Well, how many? That's 72 inches, right?
Something like that.
Our number is 919-518-9773, Computers 2K Voice on Skype. And today's show is made possible by VMix Software, Telestream's Wirecast software, and is sponsored by Tom Sinclair of Live Streaming Gear. And Gal is not going to be with us. His wife is coming back from overseas, so he is busy, got his priorities straight. I'm a little bit kind of like I made a few mistakes this morning with this.
It's all my fault.
Because I'm not used to it. I mean, but it's fine. Everything's fine.
Well, you made some other mistakes as well. You brought down Cloudflare is down this morning. Did you have anything to do with that?
No, but Gab is also down for.
So yeah, Cloudflare is reporting widespread 500 class outages, which would be HTTP requests.
That is
in the
serious
500
stuff.
So a bunch of places are down. Also, CenturyLink is down throughout almost the entire world.
Wow.
So interesting morning. It's not just you, Amnon.
Wow.
Yeah.
The other thing that I was reading is that SendGrid,
SendGrid, yeah.
They determined that SendGrid is sending millions of spams through compromised accounts.
What is SendGrid? It's an email marketing.
It's an email marketing.
It's like MailChimp. It's a marketing program.
Actually, SendGrid provides email to companies. Just email.
Oh, really? I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah. And I failed to understand. I mean, we had situations where somebody breaks the password of one of the users, and you have to authenticate in order to send mail. But right away, I'll go ahead and I'll change the password when I see it. They're sitting there. I mean, 400. They were saying that's 400 accounts that were compromised.
Yeah.
What will it take for a crew of 5? I mean, this is a big company to change the passwords for these people and to stop it. But they're talking about finding a patch, how to. I mean, I'm getting a lot of them. I noticed in the last few months, I'm getting a lot of spam from SendGrid, and you cannot block them because
they're so big.
They're so big. It's going to block a lot of legitimate. So yeah, but boy.
Yeah, big
Cloudflare.
Cloudflare and CenturyLink, according to Down Detector, there's about 10,000 people that have already reported CenturyLink being down. That's reported. And then, now I don't know if that's related to the Cloudflare thing, but in terms of CenturyLink, they broke, according to this tweet, all their IPv4 traffic was broken.
Jeez.
And then this guy says that now their IPv6 traffic is broken as well. It was just looping packets. So, busy morning on the internet.
That
or,
is that
or,
is some
or
bad-
not busy, as it were.
Yeah, in the case of Cloudflare, their last post says we are continuing to work on a fix for the issue. It's an issue with a transit provider, so it could be CenturyLink, which is level 3's backbone, that's causing the Cloudflare outage.
Maybe.
I would assume they're related. I would be shocked if they weren't. So, yep.
I am so glad I'm not with them anymore.
Oh, you'd be stressing out big time this morning. But this affects a lot of things. I just got a
Absolutely.
text from my mother. She said that she was trying to do some work this morning, and the main program that they use for work is down.
I had an interesting thing happen. I got up this morning and I had 2 text messages on my phone saying, "Here is your Google code."
Uh-oh.
So one came from a phone number that was not recognizable. The other one actually came from that short number you get when you get the 2-factor authentication.
Mhm.
So,
But
yeah,
it was
I looked it up. It says assume that someone has your username and password. They tried to log in, and 2-factor authentication blocked them. So I don't know which. It doesn't tell me what account. So I have to go in and change all my passwords. Did you ever this? I don't know if it's related, but it's sure as a coincidence as if it's not related. Was I went to what site was it? A common site, Pinterest, I guess.
Pinterest, yeah.
Yeah, somebody sent me a picture to look at, and I
Mhm.
tried to get there, and it says if you don't have an ID, and at the time I didn't have I had no idea what my ID was on my phone, so it said log in as something else, and I accidentally clicked on Google, but I didn't go anywhere. I didn't log in, and you put any passwords in, nothing, and I backed out right away, and I just ignored it. But how would that have compromised me? Would they have been able to scrape anything off?
No, because when you log in through when you log in through Google, they don't actually get your password. Google just
Oh, I
approves the
wouldn't think so.
authentication
No, or
request.
Facebook or the other
Yeah.
ways they give you, which I just never do.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know of my 6 Gmail accounts, which one is compromised. Each one has a different password.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. I have to change all my. I'll have to just keep a cheat card with me for a while.
it's better to be safe. It's
Oh no,
fine.
I don't disagree.
Yeah.
It's just I just want to understand what happened.
Oh, I don't know that you. I don't know that you ever will, and I don't know
No.
that if they knew, they would have told you.
No.
It's like it's almost like taboo. No, don't tell the people what happened. Just tell them there's a problem.
But what I want to know is that it was within 1 minute, the 2 texts, but one came from a shortened number as the text originator, like 800-232. And the second one, or the first one actually came from a phone number. And the first one, the second one came from that other shortened number, which is what I look back, and sure enough, I looked up that number on my texts, and there were other texts there about, you've changed your password, you do this, that's an authentic alert from Google. The other one came from somewhere that I have no record of. So,
Yeah, I'm seeing quite a few instances of, customers sending me spam that they don't trust. It's spam. They're asking if this is spam. It's a message, and I'm so glad they don't trust it. Here is something about your package. Your Delta Force account is about to be terminated. Things like that. Here's your Google code. Yeah, and it's good. It's good that people are learning to see these and do something about them. As in, don't click. Just don't click. So yeah, that's good. All right, let's see what else I have here on our list. Now, for those of you on cable and TV, it's been months since HBO Max and Peacock officially launched And still, neither streaming service currently appears on the Roku platform or Amazon for that matter. The companies have said discussions about support were ongoing, but now we know why they're still absent. Roku's support fees are expensive as hell. In a deep dive report on Roku's ascent to dominance in the streaming space, Variety reported Thursday that the streaming platform and hardware brand is asking for 30% of ad inventory and 20% of subscription costs from third-party streaming services, hoping to find a home on Roku. In other words, Roku is making Apple-level demands on its channel partners. HBO Max and Peacock aren't the terms that HBO Max and Peacock aren't willing to agree to, clearly. Another point of contention is the discussion appears to be support for standalone apps as opposed to subscriptions sold through the Roku channel. We're on Roku.
Yeah, but you don't pay for it.
I don't pay for it. They don't ask me to pay for it.
No, yeah, but you don't pay for the channel. It's a free channel.
Right, it's a free channel.
But yeah, this is no different, though, than any app in the iOS or Google Play Store. Google and Apple take 30%. That's their base. Everybody.
They should take and
this is standard. This is standard procedure.
But here's something that I don't understand. So you don't want to pay the fee.
Correct.
And you're not on Roku.
Correct.
You also are losing potential subscriptions.
Mm-hmm.
So the way that I look at it, what the hell? If you go in and you have only one subscriber, you don't pay as much as if you had 1,000 subscribers. So anything you look at, I'm sure there is a limit. I mean, with one, you're probably going to have to pay more than what they will pay you a month.
What I find interesting, though, is that both of those services are on Apple TV. And if Apple TV is anything like the iOS App Store, they're taking 30%. That's what Apple does on their phone. On their phone,
right?
Which is why Epic and Fortnite have been in this pissing match with Apple over the past couple of weeks, is over that exact same thing.
Yes. So what happens, almost like what you're saying now, that if they want to be on the Apple TV and on Roku, they pay 60%.
No, they pay 30% on each.
Which is 60.
But it's not. You're not paying 60% of one subscriber. You're paying 30%.
Okay.
And which the point is still the same. But yeah, unfortunately that's the cost of doing business on a free platform. Yeah. Now Roku's only 20%, which is far less than everybody else. And HBO and Peacock and all these other services are on all these apps anyway. So I don't see what the big deal is.
I don't know.
It screws a lot of Roku subscribers, though.
It will screw up a lot. I mean,
I love the Roku. It's such a great device. It's the best.
Right.
It's the best set-top streaming box. No offense to people that like the Amazon TVs. It's just the Roku puts it to shame.
No,
it's such
Roku
a good
doesn't
platform.
have to be reset twice an evening.
Nope. It is just such a good platform.
I haven't had Apple TV in a while. I had an original one, and it was okay back then. And I haven't haven't kept up with the technology. I don't know how good it is now.
Yeah. Well, the big thing with the Apple TV is the Apple streaming service, and I mean it's fine. It doesn't have the variety of apps like Roku and Amazon do, but it's a fine TV player. But I got the Roku, and Amnon got one too. The Roku Ultra.
Mm-hmm.
Which is 4K, and it was what, $79 or $99, something like that.
It was 60-some, but it wasn't brand new. It was from Amazon refurbished.
Oh, okay. So I got mine new, and it was like maybe $99.
Yeah.
And it just works really, really well. It's got a voice button on the remote, so you can talk to it and have it do things. It still has the headphone jack, which I know a lot of people like.
Roku, wash my car.
You can try that, yeah.
I mean,
and the cool thing is it doesn't use a home assistant. It's their own.
Yeah, their own voice.
It's their own voice thing. So it's not like Google Home in there or Amazon A Word. It's it's like their own. It's not a home assistant. It's just a voice
And
detection.
the headphone jack is great when you, especially like me, when the hearing is not 100% there.
Yeah.
And you play it. No, you can put
Yeah.
the earbuds and you don't bother anybody.
Yeah.
So
I've always been. I've had a Roku. God, when did we first start doing the Roku stuff? 2014, 13, 15. I've had it for a while. I'm really.
I
happy
know. I
with it.
remember you're the one that introduced us.
Yeah.
To Roku.
It was a great device.
Yeah.
And this was the same time that Google came out with its Chromecast.
Mhm.
Amazon came out with the Fire TV. They're all good devices. I think I would assume the newer Fire TVs, like the cubes, the physical boxes, are probably fine. The sticks just don't have the computing power, and the Roku stick I think is bad too.
It's
It's just slow.
for what I was for what I'm using the Roku for now, and I mean I just got it.
Yeah.
Because cutting the cord and going with Plex and all that, it works nice. The Fire TV stick that I had did not cut it. It had a lot of glitches. Then Gal brought me a Roku stick. It didn't do it because of the wireless reception. The Ultra connected it to the Ethernet, which I had right there, and I mean, never looked back.
Yeah, and
It's amazing.
yeah, my there's two different Rokus that I would recommend at this point. Not any of the stick ones. If you're going to be using it on a day-to-day basis, the Roku Premier or the Roku Ultra.
Right. The only thing that the other ones don't have, the Ultra has, is the Ethernet, the
Correct.
jack. That's, but the Premier, yeah, I did get the Premier, and the problem was, again, the wireless.
Yeah.
So,
I can't believe how cheap the Roku Express is $29.
yeah, you find a lot of refurbished
Yeah.
on Amazon, and they work really, really well.
I still have my Roku 3. I've got it in my office on the TV in there,
Mhm.
and it's fine. It's showing its age, of course. It's
How? What?
it's just slow.
Okay.
You open up an app and it spins around before it loads. It's not unusably slow, but if I was using it every day like you're using it, you'd pull your hair out.
Yeah, that's the thing. Is Kathy was not happy with the other ones. It was just it kept on.
It'll like you click 4 times and it will
And-
stop, and then it
right. Yep.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
It's
a lot of these things.
it's like your Pentium 4 that's sitting over here next to me.
I don't think we talked about the fact that I was the server that Plex is on is a big server, the one that I was using here for streaming. It's
Yeah.
a dual Xeon and all. And I was there. I said, yeah, I'll use it. But it's using a whole lot of power and heat, generating heat. So Gal was saying, hey, Raspberry Pi can do this because it has a nice processor and so forth and so on. So we did. And it installed everything on this, but it was buffering a lot. And then we found out that the problem was that he thought that the HD Home Run, which is the device that we take the live TV off the air and bring it into Plex.
It's a tuner.
It's a tuner. Yeah, it's an external standalone tuner. It doesn't do transcoding, so
It relies on the server to transcode.
Right, and the Raspberry Pi was not powerful enough to do this. So I'm back on that server, and we'll see. Well,
The Raspberry Pi is a great device. I've got mine set up at home. It's the 3A or B. It's not the newest one,
right?
But again, it's slow. They've got a very specific use case. Yeah,
that's why it's it wasn't made for this.
Correct. Now it can be tinkered with to
Right.
use for that, but it's the same thing we just talked about with the Roku. Your experience might not be quite as good.
Right. I mean, well, it's just that I don't know. I was so excited to get something like this that hardly uses any electricity, and I said, "Oh, that's great."
Yeah.
I guess if there was no off the air,
You'd be fine.
everything would be fine. Absolutely.
You would be, but the other issue you'd probably have with the Raspberry Pi would be if you had 4 or 5 people all streaming at the
Right.
same time,
Yep.
your server would be hosed.
And I'm wondering what it would do when you record.
It would it would be tough.
Because, I mean, the reason why I saw that something was wrong, not just because of that, I thought that was just off the air. It
Yeah.
was, but I logged in and I ran the command top. And that shows you the load on the CPUs. And I'm used to, like, with my servers, internet servers that support a lot of websites and all that, it's 1%, 2%. Every now and then you see it above 2%. This thing was running at 300 and above.
300%?
Yeah.
How does that happen?
Now,
100% per core.
yeah, it's per core. So there are 4 cores in it. But still, I mean, that's a lot,
Well, it's a small little device. They're not.
Yeah, I
they're
know.
not great.
That's what I'm
It's
saying,
it's an ARM-based processor. It's not doesn't have the fastest clock speed in the world. Again, for certain use cases,
Right.
it works really, really, really well.
I am absolutely sure on that.
I've got mine set up now as a little desktop computer running that ham radio distro, but I might be replacing that. I'm not sure because it's always crashing, so it's kind of annoying.
Is that because it's old, or is that because
No, I think
of the app?
I
is
think
not
it's
made?
just it's a community-made distribution, and it's in beta or it's in alpha still. So I mean, you can only complain so much.
No. But yeah, so I do have an i7, and the one that I was using here for streaming, 4990.
Nice.
And Gal was saying, yeah, this will even be lower than the dual Xeon. I mean, it'll be a lot more efficient. So we'll see. And like you said, Nick, this will probably will take a drive swap.
Yeah.
Maybe some tweaking for the memory and whatever. I don't know.
What was the machine you were running? You were appalled at how much power it was using.
You mean the one that I was using, that I'm using now? That was
No,
using
but you were using a machine recently. You swapped it out because it was using something
Yeah,
like
that's-
600 watts.
right. I'm
That's
back
what you're
to
talking about, right?
I'm back to it. Yeah.
Oh, you are, yeah.
Yeah.
So you had to have another meter pan put in?
Another.
Meter pan from the utility? I still have a cartoon. It's probably from the late 1990s or 2000s. It says, "We're here to install your internet services," and it shows the guy bringing in a 6-foot wide pipe to the house. This is back when there wasn't any fiber, wasn't any real high-speed cable, and I used to use it in classes that I taught as an icebreaker in the beginning to say, "Hey, we're here to talk about bandwidth and infrastructure and fiber and metropolitan area networks and all this stuff."
Mm-hmm.
And I'd use that as an opening. I have it somewhere. I actually have the original paper version of it that I found. Got to find it.
Oh well.
Oh well.
All right. Next thing here that this is also interesting. Apple blocked Facebook from informing users that Apple would collect 30% of in-app purchases made through a planned new feature. That's a claim by Facebook. Apple say the update violated an App Store rule that doesn't let developers show irrelevant information to users.
Irrelevant by
Yeah.
who?
we're going to raise the
Here we
price.
go. We find that irrelevant. What do you mean?
Yeah. The feature lets Facebook users buy tickets online for online events directly through the app. Apple's rules say that purchases of digital content have to use the App Store payment system, giving Apple 30% of the total. Then Facebook says it asked Apple to waive this fee so that all of the revenue would go to event organizers. But Apple refused.
This is exactly what is going
It's-
on with Epic now.
I mean,
But
and
it's
Apple needs money.
well,
they-
that's not. It's got nothing to do with
But-
Apple needing
right.
money. The point is,
But it's
the
too
point
much.
is, it's not. They've got a terms of service.
Yeah, and you don't have to do it.
And
if
you don't have to do
All
it.
right, I agree.
Apple's got a term, and I don't like. I'm not a big Apple apologist, but they've got a system in place that says anything that you do in app on our device, we get 30% of.
But they don't.
But they do.
Oh yeah, that's right. They added it to just circumvent the payment.
Yeah. So Facebook's saying, oh, well, we're trying to give the 100% of money. It doesn't matter. The terms say that if it's on the device, we get 30%, and they are not going to budge on it. They've shown they're not going to budge on it. They don't budge on it with Google. They're not budging on it. Epic and Apple are going to get into a massive lawsuit over this.
Yeah.
Apple will not budge on this, and they don't have to.
They took their account down yesterday, Friday.
Yeah, they took Fortnite
Can
off the
you-
store.
yeah.
And
And
Can you
they
imagine
took,
what things will be like if there's a massive war between, say, a war breaks out between Apple, Google, Facebook, the masters of the universe? What that would be like? That would be. I mean, it would be entertaining. It would be inconvenient, but it would be more entertaining than inconvenient.
well,
I mean,
To watch them duke it out.
the one interesting thing, and I think this is the claim that Epic is going to try to make, is that Apple is a monopoly. I'm not sure they'll be able to prove that in any way, but I believe that's the claim that Epic is going to go after, that they're a monopoly.
they are a monopoly. There's no doubt.
Yeah, but are they an illegal monopoly is the question.
Okay, yeah, that's
Well,
I
they
don't know.
built themselves a technology monopoly just by what technology does, because no one else can offer legally to sell you an app or provide an app for can you, if you are in developer mode on an iPhone, can you go in and sideload an app onto your iPhone?
Technically, yes. You can use an app called Test Launch or Test Flight to do that, but it's only good for 14 or 24 days at a time, and you have to constantly
Yeah.
reload the app. It's called Test Flight. It's for testing. I'm a beta tester for a radar app I use, and I have to go in and renew it. So can you? Yes. Is it permanent? No, not at all.
Yeah, and probably not very convenient.
No, and actually, the test flight system is actually pretty neat. You get invited to the beta, you click the link on your phone, and then you install the app, the test flight app, and then that's like its own little app store. So you manage your betas in that, which is rather neat.
Yeah, I did something similar when I wanted to stop my old iPhone from updating. I had done a jailbreak,
Mhm.
and I didn't want anything to change, so I went in and loaded a beta profile that stopped it from looking for updates.
Yeah.
It worked pretty good, but it was definitely not from Apple.
I mean, I can see how in the beginning they held it close to them with the App Store because they were saying this is going to protect you from malware and viruses and all that because we check it and all that. But these days, they get it into the App Store. They have apps there that are compromising phones.
Well, I mean, TikTok is a great example.
Well, yeah. I mean, and who knows what else that we never heard of
Yeah.
and we don't know about yet. So why not allow people to get apps from somewhere
Well,
else?
I don't have.
I don't know.
Well, I mean, they want to keep their ecosystem locked down, and that's fine. but then they're trying to force people to pay 30%.
Yeah.
Well, not force them, is they're requiring them to pay 30% for any sort of in-app transaction. And the problem that, the problem that companies like Epic. and who was this that you were just talking about?
The HBO Max.
HBO Max.
Peacock.
The thing is, they've got their own. Okay, so Amnon, if I put an app in the App Store, I don't have a processing system.
Right.
So using Apple is actually a good thing for me.
Right.
But for everybody else, they've already got these systems. They've got deals with Visa and MasterCard to process bulk transactions. They've got a payment processor built up, and now they have to do this stuff through Apple. And then Apple, of course, takes 30%, which is their right to do so. It's their platform. They can do whatever the hell they want.
They can do whatever they want, but if it's just for processing, that's absolutely ridiculous.
Well, it is, but it's no different than like PayPal. Or the number is different, but PayPal charges a fee to
everybody charges a fee,
and Google charges the same amount, 30%.
They do?
Yeah.
But as a user, an iPhone user that does not buy a lot of apps, right? I like the fact that they have a lockdown ecosystem.
As do I.
Because I want my phone to work. I use it for business. I use it for other, I wouldn't call them critical things, but certainly uber convenient things that make using the phone a great thing. If I didn't have that phone with me, it would be
interesting,
very inconvenient. But I don't mind that because I'm not buying a lot of big ticket apps. I have a few that I purchased over the years that I really like, that I was willing to pay $3-4 for. One thing, let me talk about a pet peeve for a second. I've had the original Apple game called Texas Hold'em, and they eventually, I paid for it, and it was like $8 or $9 back in the day, and they discontinued it and offered no compensation. Sorry, this is no longer supported. It won't be. You can't download it on this version of iOS going forward, and if it's on an old machine, it's not going to work right. Not going to save your game. It's not going to do anything. It was a great game. I loved it, but that pissed me off because they didn't offer an alternative. They decided they weren't going to support it anymore. And I still have it on my old Apple first generation tablet. Still works. Not that I go there to play the game, but it was that kind of stuff is what frosts me.
Well, it's pretty funny, Spence. I don't know. What was your first iPhone?
I'm going to say a 3.
Okay, yeah. So I had the 3GS. That was my first one. And it's funny to look at what the App Store used to be, which was all paid apps. Every app was almost every app was 99 cents.
Yeah.
And now hardly any app is paid for
and it's annoying because everything is in-app purchases.
Yeah, but it
drives you crazy.
I just remember when I was in middle school and high school, and it was just like, oh, this app looks cool. Oh, 99 cents. Oh, 99 cents. Oh, 99 cents. And now it's because your data is so much more valuable, they're better off giving you the app for free instead of charging you $1 for it, which Apple was taking 30% of.
Yeah.
So it just we found out that the data is a whole hell of a lot more important.
Costs a lot more. It generates a lot more.
Well, it generates a lot more, and I would say as the user, well, I guess it doesn't necessarily cost a whole lot more because even if you paid for the app, I mean, they'd still be collecting your data anyway.
Yeah. Something about this month, Windows updates.
Yeah.
Lots of them.
The worst one is you update it and you're coming back and there's Edge.
Oh, yeah.
Taking
did
over.
It again.
Trying to take over, and you look on the screen and there's no way to exit it. You have to hit continue. I'm saying, I don't want to go and then figure out how to do away with it. So I'm looking and I'm saying, they couldn't have done this. There's got to be a button here that I'm not seeing that says skip or no thanks or something like that. No. You had to hit continue, and then the X was there. And you had to go into the default programs and say, no, I want to continue using Firefox. What in the world? What kind of attitude is this to do an update and try to capture people? And a lot of people that don't know it, they don't know that they can use whichever browser they want. So they start using Edge. And I'm not saying Edge must be a lot better these days.
Oh, it is.
Because it is based on Chromium and it's whatever. But if you're used to a certain browser, you should be able to continue using it without having to be a techie to know how to bring it back. Or something that will come up. I mean, it used to say when you used, and it may still work, when you fire up Firefox and Edge was the default, it would say Firefox is not your default browser. Do you want to make it your default?
You can't. It no longer automated though. You have to.
Yeah.
They take you to the configuration screen,
and
so you change it. Doesn't automatically change it for you.
And it's not really clear how to do it for somebody who is not familiar with the back end. It's not that clear that you just say, "Yeah, I want to switch." It's you have to figure out. You have to click on that. And then I don't remember.
Well, there's more than one option. You can select Edge for open PDFs. You can select Edge to do other things, not just browse.
Yeah.
So,
but it's just, and then the other thing is, and they're playing with it back and forth, and that's what brought up that thing. But a war between Google and Apple. Google is Google is paying Apple, they say millions of dollars to be the default search engine in, what is their browser?
Safari?
Safari. And that agreement is about to expire.
Uh-oh.
And the words of the writer would say, well, Apple doesn't need Google's money anymore. So they are building their own search engine, and they've been doing it for some time now.
When I was out in Greensboro this weekend, I saw a DuckDuckGo billboard.
Really?
Yeah. For the search engine,
Nice.
DuckDuckGo. I didn't really catch what it said because I was a little taken aback by it. It was the DuckDuck. Unless somebody else is using the DuckDuckGo logo, it was a DuckDuckGo billboard.
Oh, wow.
Which I was.
I have my Chrome set up on my work machine to go to DuckDuckGo as my opening window, but then I have some other little built-ins that I can, when I open a new window, it goes to a different customized search screen that has a bunch of other stuff on it for me too. That's not DuckDuckGo.
Oh no, they do. Wow, they've got even a link on their website of all the billboards they have. Got them all over the damn place in Greensboro.
But the thing here is, if you're used to Google and you like to use Google,
you'll figure out how to use it.
Then you should be able to, and you can change your.
And you still can.
You still can, but if they change the default one, a lot of people.
Every time Windows does an update in Windows 10, it changes your default browser back to Edge.
I don't know. That's the first time that I saw this.
Or maybe not every time. Every feature update. Every time they do a big, like 1909, 2004, when they do the big
they change it.
Feature updates, they change it. Now, when they do the little updates, no. But when they do the big ones, they change a whole bunch of crap. And it's annoying, but.
Yeah. I mean,
here's my point, though. If you don't notice it,
then it's fine.
Then if you as a user aren't savvy enough to know that you're now using Edge instead of Google, then it doesn't matter.
Yeah, but you would have to go through an import process in order to use it and not notice it.
Correct.
Because it's not, you have to go in and say, would you like to pull in your bookmarks from Chrome? Would you like to pull in your settings from Chrome? So that's not going to happen until you say okay, so you'll know.
Yeah.
I haven't gotten any calls yet, which I'm surprised.
About that?
Yeah.
Huh?
I expect to. if that's the case. I have updates on this machine, even though I had this running last week and pulled in whatever updates were from the week before. I haven't done this week yet. So I'll see. It just says it's an update for 2004. Oh well.
Again, but updates, and a lot of people these days have SSDs, and this is the first I hear about this. Windows 10 May 2020 update, otherwise known as version 2004,
Whoop, whoop.
was released in May with at least 10 known issues. Microsoft later expanded the list of the problems and acknowledged that this feature update is also plagued with a bug that breaks Drive Optimize tool. After upgrading to Windows 10 version 2004, users observed that optimized drives, also known as defragmentation tool, is not correctly recording the last time a drive has been optimized. As a result, when you open the tool, you will see that your SSD drive says it needs optimization, even though you've manually optimized the drives already or automatic maintenance was run this morning. Since the last optimization times are forgotten, Windows 10 built-in maintenance tools started defragging an SSD drive much more often when you restart Windows. With Windows 10 build 19042, it's 20H2 for insiders, Microsoft has finally resolved all problems with the optimized drives, also known as defragmentation. SSDs, we know, have a limited lifetime.
Correct.
Read-write, even though it's, millions of, you probably would never see it. In the beginning, it was a lot worse than what it is today. But to take something like this, not only it ruins the drive, or it shortens the drive's life, but it also takes power from you doing your work. It's ridiculous for them to not let you know, or not to come up with a fix that will fix it right away, but wait until later on to do it. It's still not out.
The reason
fixed.
is, I heard Al Gore came out and told us the reason is all global warming, causing COVID. That's
computer warming.
That's it. Computers are running too warm, and the bits are being changed by solar flares, and we're all going to die.
I really don't understand how something like that is allowed to live out there without them. Okay, so you do once a month update, but when there's something serious, you send a patch or something to fix it, and they're not doing it.
It's obvious that they have deprioritized it, or everybody's on vacation, or they fired that guy, or something happened. It just doesn't happen on its own.
It's not their drive.
Yeah. Yep. That's right. Well, I don't care. Hey, this is job security for me because I have something to fix.
Yeah.
I work in the debug department, the post-release debug department, and I need something to do. Human nature being as it is.
Yeah. Are you ready for specials?
I am ready. I am very ready. Absolutely very ready. What are we doing again? Whatever it is, I'm ready for it.
Okay.
So today, well, first of all, Computers 2K Now specials for, it's actually August 30th already. We're about to enter September.
Yep.
Man, I'm flabbergasted here. And this is the first summer in 5 years that I've actually spent in North Carolina from July 15th till the end of September. And boy, I forgot how hot it gets. But I've also been doing things that I didn't get around to doing before because in the summer months because I was away.
Yeah.
Okay, so today's theme is cheap, but prices are relevant, cool gadgets. So I set out to find some wacky stuff here. Well, some of it's not so wacky. Some of it's actually pretty useful. But one thing that you should remember, I do provide links to places to find these things, shortened links.
Mhm.
But it also does not mean that this is the only version of something out there. There's lots of it's hard to decide sometimes. You say, all right, I would like to see foldable Bluetooth keyboards. Okay, go to Amazon. There are at least 10 that start out right away to show you. But it's up to you to go look. But this is just suggestions. Might be willing to look for something. But the nice part about it is that some of these things are reasonably priced. Okay, first one, foldable Bluetooth keyboard. What the hell is a jelly comb? Anybody know?
I don't know.
Nick, jelly comb?
You went to the bathroom.
Oh, okay. Jelly comb dual mode Bluetooth. Maybe it's got something to do with the actual tactile feel of the keys or something. Jelly? Well, I don't know. Whatever. All right, USB powered, rechargeable, portable, mini Bluetooth wireless keyboard with touchpad mouse, Android PC, and Windows. Cool. What do you think? For $34.99, folds up, very handy.
Very handy for what?
Yeah, for travelers. It's like that. Remember when Logitech came out with their first keyboard that you could use to switch between multiple devices? The first one was 3 Bluetooth devices. It was kind of a travel keyboard meant for people who were on the road with a tablet, a PC, and a phone that they could switch back and forth.
Yeah.
That was the beginning of this stuff. But I have a Bluetooth keyboard that's part of a travel case for an iPad, but it's an older version. I can still use the keyboard, but I can't use the case. It doesn't fit my current Generation 10 iPad. But $34.99 at Amazon. There are other versions of it, so different prices, different quality. Okay, the next one I thought was just so cool. It is actually based on a Russian-produced, this was in the notes, radio vacuum tube made in the USSR in 1981. And they take that and they build into it a SanDisk USB 2.0 flash drive. And they have all the different sizes. They go from 8 gig up to 256. But isn't that awesome? Now, I'm sure it's not glowing with the filaments of
it's probably LEDs.
Vacuum tube. It's just LED, because otherwise it would draw too much
But where
power.
do you plug it?
USB port.
Oh, so it's got a USB on the
It's a USB flash drive, plugs in. And they also make a steampunk base for it that you can, like a USB slot on the top with a cord that you can plug in for desktop users who want to see it as a little, that's really cool.
Hopefully it's not glass.
No, it is glass.
Oh, come on.
It is the actual vacuum tube.
You
got to be careful. You got to be careful. These are handmade. That's why the lead time. If you were to order it today, it'd be September 21st to October 13th. So it comes. I believe it comes from Russia. But awesome. I mean, this is so cool. There's some other. This company also makes some other products too. I can't remember the name of the. Salvatech. Handmade
Slavatech.
pentode.
Yeah.
Slavatech. Yeah, so probably in the former Eastern satellites of Soviet Union. Okay, this next one, I was very distressed to find out that it is not available. I went all around. It's made by ThinkGeek. But the ThinkGeek site, when you go to ThinkGeek, it automatically directs you to, what's the big gaming company that has stores? Can't remember, but their site. But I could not find it. There's several places online that did sell it, but right now it's not available. But ThinkGeek steampunk styled Tesla analog watch. This is also very cool. I mean, not that I would wear this around and try to show people.
Somebody's finding use for old vacuum tubes.
That's it. I don't know that these are real vacuum tubes. You can't tell.
But it looks like it.
It does look like it. LED lit up. That's kind of cool. $59. It was $59.95 when it was available, but really, really neat. All right, the next one, keeping with USB devices here. USB rechargeable AA and AAA batteries, lithium-ion rechargeable batteries that you just plug into a USB slot to recharge them. What a great idea. If you're traveling and you have things that run on AA and AAA batteries. I remember reading, I forget what the story was this past week, or a thread I was reading somewhere about people that still use rechargeable batteries, and they were complaining about some device all of a sudden started to go through batteries a lot faster, and they were trying to figure out what was going on. But I was a big user of rechargeable batteries when they were nickel metal hydride, and still have the setups for charging those batteries. I still have some batteries, but the batteries, regular batteries, became so inexpensive and much longer lasting that it really wasn't worth the trouble. All right, from a perspective of not having batteries anymore to get rid of, I recycle my batteries. I take them to the recycling center, so I know they're going somewhere. Hopefully they don't just put them in a big bin and throw them in a landfill, but they are making it seem as though they're going to be recycled. So I do take my alkaline batteries to be recycled. I don't just throw them, throw them in the garbage. But here they are. They have AA and AAA, package of 4 for $16.99 on Amazon. Amnon, how lazy are you in the morning that you need to have a self-stirring coffee mug? The way they do this is they use magnetism. Yeah. And there's a little thing in the bottom that when you press the button, starts to spin and automatically stirs your coffee. Awesome, huh? $14.99 2-pack. So you can get the 2-pack and give one to your best friend and keep one for yourself. But it actually says it on it, self-stirring mug. Is that a virtue signaling thing? To let other people know that you have a self-stirring mug? Does that make you score points with your base of friends? Fluid self-stirring technology makes this different from any other self-stirring mug. Very cool. All right, $14.99 for 2 at Amazon. All right, for those of you who can't leave your desk but have to have food handy.
Oh my God,
this is incredible. Great. Isn't it something?
Wow.
That's really cool, and it's not expensive. They make several different types of this.
I wonder how good the hot dogs come out.
Well, that's true. It's got to cook for a while. I don't think it's going to sit in there with the but it says work. How could this work with chicken? Turkey, veggie, well, maybe chicken.
Yeah, chicken hot dogs.
Yeah, turkey, veggie links, sausages, and brats. But
is it powered by USB?
Blow up your USB port.
It's powered with USB rechargeable batteries. So I didn't drill down into how this thing works.
Oh, I'm gonna drill down right now because now I need to know.
$18.99. That's not bad for something and when you get there, it'll suggest other things too for making different types of fast food.
Spence, they sell a $40 version that lets you do 4 hot dogs and 4 buns at a time. That's a high dollar item.
I think this would make a very good theme restaurant where you have several of these on every table and you give the people the raw food and they cook it themselves.
In the age of COVID.
Yeah. Hey, yeah.
I'm looking at some pictures. I'm looking at some pictures of the Amazon reviews. These actually look pretty damn good.
Yeah, isn't that something?
Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to buy one because that's stupid. But
you write it off as a business.
It'll go with your fridge. Yeah. With the little fridge.
Oh yeah, I guess. I'll put. Yeah. See, I just bought a house. I have a whole kitchen. I'll buy this and just put it in my house. I'll never have to leave.
Retro. You have a retro fridge?
I do. I have a little mini fridge.
Those are cool.
I'll put this in my bedroom and I'll use it as an alarm clock. I'll automate
Smell the hot dogs. Put
Actually, you could do some sausage links or something.
That's it. Yep. You're limited though in the shape of the bun you can use.
Sausage links and English muffins. Just jam them in there. It'll work. Wow,
amazing.
Yeah, I do that with pretzel hot dog buns.
Ooh, I like pretzel hot dog buns.
Those are good. All right, next one. I thought this was pretty neat. There's many versions of play-at-home laser tag, but they do not use smartphones as part of the app. This looks awesome, but it's only $59. The original version I saw of this, which made me interested, was like over $115, but I found this price at, what was this place? I don't remember the name of the site, but $59. So this is a laser tag gun that has a clip to hold your smartphone, talks to your smartphone using Bluetooth, and coordinates using GPS and the motion, what do they call it? The accelerometer built into the phone to actually play with and shoot at other people and get scoring and all that stuff on the screen. I thought it was cool. $59. And then who doesn't want a radio controlled tarantula?
Me?
Think about this. Just go to a party, right? Put it in the hall and start having it march into the party and see what happens. How many people?
Somebody's going to step on it.
Oh my
and
God!
kill
Somebody's
it.
gonna scream. Oh my God! Somebody's going to scream like crazy. So I know what it's like when someone sees a bug and they start screaming, and it turns out to be lint on the floor. So it's like this would be absolutely awesome. I'm not sure how big it would be, but this is available on Amazon, $22.59. And I think that the Uncle Milton one was the one I found because it had. They have other products. It's a toy company, but Uncle Milton makes this in his basement. So handcrafted, right? But pretty cool. $22.59 at Amazon. So there are some interesting things out there. If you've got time on your hands, a little money in your pocket, and you want
Wait,
to,
let's find out if Nick knows about this. What it means? What is?
What? Oh,
Jellycomb dual mode Jellycomb?
Jellycomb is it's that membrane style keyboard.
okay. That's what I
Yeah.
thought it was something to do with the actual keys.
Yeah, I that's all I can presume is that's what that means.
What flavor jelly is it?
It's probably more of a jam than a jelly.
Oh, okay.
And I'd probably go with grape. That's my favorite.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
I had
makes
a jelly on some toast this morning at the hotel. Let me tell you. Okay, I've got a couple bones to pick. So I was up in Greensboro over the weekend doing some political stuff, and they're still doing breakfast at the hotel. Pre-packaged breakfast. It was the worst food I've ever had at a hotel.
Oh,
Because it's just sitting in these boxes being warmed, and it was disgusting.
what was in it?
Omelet, hash brown. It was just nasty. Thanks, all due to COVID.
Well,
Oh, really pissed me off. That's my gripe.
Ah,
And the hotel bar was closed. What am I supposed to do?
oh yeah, you can't. You're supposed to have something with you. Did you have a Velveeta now?
No, I ate this morning. I got a Danish on the way out and some
Oh, okay.
toast. But yeah,
Dang.
I could have used that hot dog toaster in the hotel room. That would have been great.
Oh, by the way, Jellycomb is the brand.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah, John pointed that out.
Hmm.
Thanks, John. Here we are, supposed tech experts, and we just completely missed that.
Yeah.
Well, I did anyway. It says visit the Jellycomb store. Okay. Sorry.
That's if you're not on a diet, or if you are on a diet.
They have the diet version of it?
That you need to-
Low calorie version?
Local, yeah. All right, so we all hear about 5G and 4G and speeds and this and that and the other. But listen to this. Average 5G download speeds in the US are 50.9 megabits. A nice step up from the average 4G speed, but far behind several countries where 5G speeds are in the 200 megabits to 400 megabits range. These statistics were reported last week by OpenSignal, which presented average 5G speeds in 12 countries based on user-initiated speed tests conducted between May 16 and August 14. The U.S. came in last of the 12 countries in 5G speeds, with 10 of the 11 other countries posting 5G speeds that at least doubled those of the US. The US average 5G speed is 1.8 times higher than the country's average 4G. So you doubled, you about double, not triple. And user tests in neighboring Canada produce 4G speeds of 59.4. So they're getting on 4G what we're getting in this country on 5G. Remember how we said that, oh boy, with 5G, you're going to eat your data in no time because you download movies like crazy. Well, not really. So in Canada, the average is 178.1 megabits, the average of 5G. Taiwan and Australia both producing 5G averages above 200 megabits, while South Korea and Saudi Arabia produce the highest 5G speeds of 312 and 414, respectively. But it's always been like that here. Every time there was something new, the speeds were lower. Whether connected, cable connected, DSL, any of those, they always start real low. And then as other companies come with faster, they match it and they what's the deal here? It makes no sense to do this. And if it does have to do with the hardware and they're going to have to upgrade the hardware, then what a waste of money. Because if I'm getting 4G is 28.9 on the average. Did you ever sit there with your phone and say, oh boy, that is slow? And I'm not talking about Wi-Fi. When you're out there on 4G, did you wish that it was a lot faster? Or can you live with the speed that you get from 4G?
Here's the thing. So the number was what on 4G?
In the United States, 28.9.
So here's the thing. It's 28.9 with full service. So with 5 bars or 4 bars, it's 28 and a half or whatever.
Okay.
With 2 bars,
okay,
or 1 bar, it's
going to
2,
drop.
maybe 3, if you're lucky. So in the situation, like here, I've got full service at my at the house. I actually have terrible cell phone service. It doesn't bother me because I don't have Wi-Fi. I have Wi-Fi. I'll do a speed test. I only have 1 bar there, or maybe 2. But it's not. Further and further you go out, having the more speed, I think would be helpful, but maybe it won't be. I'm not sure how that actually works, because I guess your signal to the cell tower is your throughput, not the speed coming through. So I don't really know how that works.
So, but I mean, if I'm getting 28.9, and let's compare apples to apples, and then I'm going to get less than double, well, maybe double of it, on 5G, and I have to pay more. Oh, no, I'll stay with the 4G, because most people these days are really using Wi-Fi. They don't use their data, because wherever they are, there's Wi-Fi.
This is true.
So why don't they come up with, hey, we can do 300. All we have to do is just check that box there in the configuration.
Yeah.
Now you can sell something that people will go for and say, yeah, I want that. Even though they don't need it, they will buy it just because of the speed. So I don't know why they're doing it, but apparently. There's another story here that's kind of disturbing. A reader tipped them off that Hbo Max stopped working a couple of weeks ago for Linux users.
Okay.
Under any web browser, any attempt to play back a video on the streaming service on a Linux system, regardless of distribution or browser, returns an error saying, we're having trouble playing this video. Please try again later. Unfortunately, trying later won't help. The root cause of the problem is that the Widevine DRM, attempting to protect HBO Max's content from pirates, is refusing to recognize any Linux system as a known platform. I'm hoping that thing here is a bug.
It is.
And that they can fix it.
They
and
will.
That they will.
All that really shows is how little use Linux has for stuff like that.
It's what? I mean, come on, you guys. It's the hopefully up and coming operating system, and it's getting more and more traction.
Yeah, but
come on.
Well, yeah, but that's how you find bugs. I mean, when you've got, I can't imagine
the use.
I can't imagine how many people are watching HBO Max on Linux.
On Linux,
that has got to be an incredibly small user group.
Yeah.
Who uses Linux as an actual desktop? With all the people, you run Linux, you don't use it as a desktop.
I don't use it as a desktop.
No, most people don't. I mean, of course, I technically use it as a desktop now, but not for anything like that.
Interesting.
Alan, DRM only inconveniences customers. It does not stop pirates. Yeah, it's an interesting, the whole DRM, it's, from what I understand about copyright, which is not a lot, but from what I understand about copyright, you as the copyright holder have to be willing to enforce or at least try to prevent the unauthorized reproduction, use, whatever, of your service. And I think DRM provides movie and TV companies with the liability that, hey, we're trying. I don't know that to be the fact. All I know is that if you have something and if you're not willing to enforce it, you could potentially lose it.
True.
So,
well, I don't know that you
can absolutely.
I mean, you would lose the income, but you're not.
No, but you could lose your copyright.
Really?
If you copyright something and prove that you're not willing to enforce it, absolutely.
Oh.
If I make something, and then you copyright, that would be more of a patent. But nevertheless, if you copy me, it's fine, and I don't do anything, and then Spence copies me, and I try to sue him, Spence could make the case, hey, Amnon copied you, and you didn't do a damn thing.
So you're toast.
Yeah, you're toast. Hot dog and toast. So, but no, Alan, I agree. DRM does inconvenience customers, but and I'm sure it does stop some version of piracy. If you are hell bent on getting content, you'll get it. I don't think there's any. You're never going to stop that. But technically, if you go and get if you buy a DVD, and you have a bunch of people over to your house to watch it, that's against the copyright of not against the copyright. It's against the term of that movie or TV show. Same thing with music. You buy a CD and have a bunch of people over and play it.
Yeah,
you're supposed to have royalties. Now, of course, you're supposed to pay license. Of course, now you're not. Nobody ever will, and it's never enforced. Never has been enforced. But
interesting.
Yeah, there's a little Reddit lawyering. Take it for what it's worth.
Listen to this. Taiwan-based electronic manufacturers Foxconn and Pegatron are among companies eyeing new factories in Mexico.
Oh.
People with direct knowledge of the matter state. As the U.S.-China trade war and coronavirus pandemic prompt firms to re-examine global supply chains, the plans would usher in billions of dollars in badly needed fresh investments over the next few years for Latin America's second largest economy, which is primed for its worst recession since the 30s Great Depression. So Mexico, even though a lot of those companies came back to the States, are going to maybe getting some other countries to come in there. But do you think that China cares
About what? Those
about
companies
those
leaving?
companies leaving? I mean, China is going to make a move on the area sooner or later. I'm sure. Maybe
I don't.
not.
They don't care about the companies. They care about having the power
Right.
and
That's
being
the
able
thing.
to push their thumb on those companies.
Yep.
So do they care? Absolutely. Well, with the new USMCA trade deal,
Mhm.
companies moving to Mexico would not be the worst thing in the world.
No.
You'd prefer, of course, to have them in the U.S.
Right.
But if the choice is China or Mexico, we've got a much more realistic and fair relationship with Mexico as a country and government than we do China. So
Right.
yeah, that's not the
Sure.
worst. That's not the
Yeah.
worst thing in the world. And actually, the U.S. and Mexican government have had a
A good
yeah,
relationship.
they have absolutely. Trump's
absolutely.
Trump's
Yeah.
done a pretty damn good job with
Yeah.
the USMCA.
So, video conferencing software Zoom experienced a widespread outage last Monday morning, with many users unable to join or launch video meetings. Why it matters? During the coronavirus pandemic, Zoom has become the go-to solution for many businesses and schools trying to function remotely. What they're saying, we have identified the issue causing users to be unable to start and join Zoom meetings and webinars and are working on a fix for this issue. We sincerely apologize for any inconvenience. The issue has been resolved since. But can you imagine? I mean, this is like Windows stopped working one morning, just stopped working for everybody
Yes.
for even a couple of hours. Can you imagine what devastation it is for companies and
Well, how about students?
students? I mean, for the population
Well,
these days.
Yes, but this is part of the
Yeah,
this is
it
part of the conversation that
absolutely.
unfortunately nobody wanted to have, and these are the not unattended. These are the consequences of shifting the entire United States public school system to
online.
online.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. This is not going to be the first or last time this happens.
Probably
between
not.
the end of the school year.
Yeah. And it's probably has a lot to do with the schools.
It does, because you literally had a whole bunch of schools started over the
Boom,
past 2
right,
weeks. Yeah.
yeah.
It's a mess.
Yeah, it is. It is. Do you have anything, Spence? Do you have anything that you want to talk about?
No.
Don't be. I mean, you don't need to be shy.
Me? Shy?
Yeah.
I've turned over a new leaf.
Okay.
Prompt me when you want something. I'll just sit here.
All right. Here's something else interesting about cell phones. Last year, repair guide site iFixit tore down the Fairphone 3. Never heard that name. Fairphone. And gave the modular design phone a rare, perfect 10 out of 10 repairability score. Today, Fairphone demonstrated just how far its philosophy of modular phone design can take its users by offering the massively upgraded cameras from its newly released Fairphone 3 Plus model to owners of the earlier Fairphone 3. Fairphone designs are noticeably bulkier than typical smartphone designs, but they have a reason to be. Its components have been split into 7 replaceable modules in order to extend the service life of each Fairphone. Battery getting weak, it's replaceable. Dropped your phone and broke the screen, not only replaceable, but guaranteed replaceable. And for reasonably technical end users, user replaceable with easy purchase parts from the factory. The original Fairphone 3 launched with a 12 megapixel rear camera. Yeah, I need 24, right? It's easily the same phone. The 3 Plus is essentially the same phone, but it offers a refresh on the camera modules, bringing the rear camera to 48 megapixels and the front one to 16. Owners of the original Fairphone 3 can upgrade this by simply purchasing replacement modules from the Fairphone store and replacing them. That's the complete other side of cell phones repairability.
Razer, you remember Razer tried doing this with the desktop? They had that modular desktop. It was a big Razer, the
cell phone.
No, that's the Motorola Razer. Razer, the gaming company. They had this desktop. I don't know if you remember this, Spence. It was a modular desktop, and the base was the power supply, I believe, and then all of the other modules clicked into it, and you would build it up as a tower. The problem with those things is they're too damn expensive, and in reality, people don't upgrade their phones like that. It's a cool concept, but it's not. Who's looking?
I ordered a new half of my phone so I could plug in the new bottom half.
Yeah,
you have to cut it in half though to do that.
What do you use? A Dremel or a jigsaw?
I saw instructions on YouTube. It said to upgrade your phone, cut the bottom half off and send it to this company. They'll upgrade it and then you get it back. And
but what do you use? Chop saw, jigsaw, Dremel?
Yeah, anything like that.
Okay.
Just
a hacksaw.
Hacksaw is you want it to be straight though.
Okay.
Just put it on the table and mark it with the glass cutter and then break it.
Snap it in half. Remember the punk they had where people, when they first came out with the iPhone with no phone jack, the guy actually took a phone and drilled a hole. Said, drill the hole in this exact spot. So you plug in your phone, your earphones. Oh my God.
Speaking of that, I didn't realize the genius of Apple. So when they announced they were getting rid of the headphone jack, I was like, oh man, that really sucks. And then I bought their $200 AirPods, and it's the greatest thing ever. They really do understand how to hawk their own stuff, and they do a really damn good job at it. As much as I dislike Apple, I carry around an $1,100 phone when I bought it at the time, a $250 watch, and a $200 pair of earbuds.
Well, think about it. They lowered the cost of goods to manufacture it by not having that little piece in there.
Yep.
They got more real estate in the phone, and they created a whole new market trend by doing it. And people at first were a little pissed off.
Yeah. They're always many steps ahead of what they're trying to do. And now that I have the AirPods, it's fantastic. I don't even know if I have a pair of earbuds. Honest to God, I don't think I have any earbuds anymore.
You don't use them?
No, I don't have anything to plug them into. I mean, I have headphones, of course, at home that I use on my computer, and I've got headphones, but earbuds, I don't believe I have a single. I'm sure I have a pair in a box somewhere, but I have no idea where it is because I don't use them. They've got me hooked.
I splurged 2 years ago, and I bought myself a really nice Bose noise cancellation headphones, over-the-ear headphones, just for traveling. And that was a life-changing thing. I'm not traveling that much now, but when I would fly a lot, boy, they were great. And I was like, why didn't I buy this sooner?
We at one point for the show, we got a review copy, or Amnon got a pair of headphones from a company called Mixeater, Mixeater. And Gal tested them out and played with them for a little while, and then passed them along to me, and they're noise canceling headphones. And at one point in my apartment, when I had a really loud neighbor that would play TV all hours of the day and night, those things are fantastic for trying to relax and go to bed. Noise canceling earphones are really cool.
Well, But Spence. Oh,
Well, I was going to say, Alan mentions about buying a lightning to headphone adapter. And if you can get, I have a couple that I've bought over the years that are charger headphone adapters where you plug it into the phone and it's got a USB charger port and the phone jack. So you can charge and listen to music at the same time. The quality in the beginning of those aftermarket products wasn't so good. In fact, I cooked one of them. I was wearing it, I was walking, and I had on a fleece jacket, and I unzipped the jacket, and I heard snap, and that was it. It knocked out the right channel in the headphone because of static electricity. It just cooked it.
Yeah, I bought one of those too, and they sucked.
Well, the newest one I have, it's like the third one I bought, actually works pretty good. And the original one, the volume level was too low. The second one is the one that got fried. And the third one is finally now a decent quality. And another type to get that helps is just get a lightning port splitter. It plugs in and gives you two lightning ports. You can plug in the charger and plug in another lightning device. You don't have to worry about going through having the headphone logic built into it so you can listen. It just gives you a split, and that seems to work okay, and there's no implications because the audio processing isn't done inside the little fob. So pretty good.
Let's see what else is here. That's first. Let me read it. The U.S. Department of Justice announced charges last week, against a Russian citizen who traveled to the U.S. in order to recruit and convince an employee of a Nevada company to install malware on their employer's network in exchange for $1 million. The 27-year-old Russian was identified as a member of a larger criminal gang who planned to use the malware to gain access to the company's network, steal sensitive documents, and then extort the victim companies for a large ransom payment. To mask the theft of corporate data, the Russian told the employee that other members of the gang would launch a DDoS attack to keep the company's security team distracted. Now, the American, instead of going for it, went to the FBI and told them about it. And they kept him under surveillance. And finally, when they had all what they needed, they arrested him. But I'm wondering how many of these quote unquote ransom cases are actually not because somebody was able to break a password, not because somebody clicked on a link in an email that screwed up their network, but actually planted there by somebody who was paid good money to do it.
That happens all the time, and it's no different than it's a hit. It's a modern day version of a hit.
Yeah, but we always say, "Oh, don't click on this, don't click on it. Look what happened. They clicked on something." I mean, good for the guy.
Yeah, hey, man, people, say what you want. People will do anything for a couple bucks, and, obviously that's very illegal to extort your company, but
right.
I mean, I'm not saying I do it, but in the right circumstance, I'm sure almost everybody would contemplate it.
Well, I'm sure the guy contemplated it and finally decided, no, I'm not going to spit in the well that I'm drinking from.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not saying it makes you a good person to do that, but it wouldn't be the crazy, especially if your employer, now obviously it's very, very, very illegal to do.
Right.
And you will probably serve many, many, many years in jail and have to pay all the money back. But, I mean, I could see that happening.
I'm hoping that the company is going to compensate him, maybe not with money, but
I'm sure they won't. I'm sure they'll continue to screw him over, like any good company. Oh, you saved us? Oh, here's a $50 Applebee's gift card. Enjoy the night. Enjoy a night on the town with your wife. Applebee's gift card. No alcohol.
Oh,
though,
Nick.
just food.
No.
Actually, no. Hold on. Not even Applebee's gift card. Here's some frozen Applebee's food from Walmart. I have mini mozzarella sticks and chicken sandwiches. Thanks for saving us billions of dollars. We appreciate your work to our company. That's what I would do if I was in charge of the company. Maybe you run an ice cream truck and have him come out, and then he has to buy his own ice cream. That's even better. There's an ice cream truck that goes through my neighborhood every night. I'm very excited about that.
Oh, what does it play? What songs does it play?
It does play the original ice cream song, which apparently has been canceled, but they're still playing it, like the normal ice cream song. I haven't had a chance to flag them down yet, but
Yeah, we had Mr. Softy in our neighborhood when we go up, but he just had his just dinged. He had a ding, ding. There was no song.
Yeah.
We were too stupid to recognize music, I guess.
I don't know what's. I know the one in baseball. Da, 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 da. Isn't it a baseball thing?
I don't know.
Well, the Mr. Softy one was. Dun, 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 dun. Whatever that was based on a real song. So who knows?
All right. Well,
Arnie, Nick, are you at Amnon's place? I am at Amnon. Can you put your camera on? The other.
it is. Oh,
He's in the bunker with Amnon.
I'm at Amnon's place. Ooh. Through the power of Zoom.
did you see the spider legs coming kind of like almost on my face?
Yeah, I did. Pretty crazy. I don't know the donut song.
Donut song?
Yeah.
Okay. I never heard of it either. So here's another interesting story. That was then. Lamenting a dire shortage of U.S. computer science grads, tech investors Ali and Hadi Partovi launched Code.org in 2013 with backing from the world's largest tech firm to push coding into America's K-12 classrooms.
Mm-hmm.
So they said, hey, go to school. This is now. Computer science graduation can wait. Bloomer News Alan Hewitt reports that some Silicon Valley startups hungry for young talent are making lemonade from COVID-19 lemons, presenting pandemic-weary computer science students with an alternative to school. Remote gap year internship aimed specifically at young people looking for alternatives to a dismal school year. She writes, dozens of Silicon Valley startups are looking to hire fall interns.
This is the modern day equivalent to trade school.
Well,
they still have trade school, but a more...
According to a list assembled by Startup Accelerator Y Combinator this month, venture firm Neo organized a virtual career fair for 120 students and a range of startups, including Code.org, hoping to match pairs for internship during the upcoming academic year. And venture firm Contrary Capital is offering to invest $100,000 in 5 teams of entrepreneurs if they take a gap year from school to build a company. Such arrangements allow interns to get paid and learn on the job while avoiding paying tens of thousands of dollars for Zoom University.
How about just telling them, forget the college thing, come here, we'll train you, we'll get you a good job, you'll get certified.
Yeah,
and
they should.
Why do you know I got so aggravated when they talked about not opening colleges and they wanted kids to go back to school remotely and pay the same tuition price.
That's why they opened the schools.
Yeah. Oh, so they could get, yeah.
Yeah.
And then they were going through and saying, well, here's what it costs to go to Harvard.
Mhm.
It's like $40,000 to $50,000 a semester or a year.
Yeah.
That's unbelievable. Plus other costs.
Right.
And the value they're saying now, it's just people are finally waking up to the fact that these degrees aren't worth it. Some of them are not. Some of the crazy ones are just not worth it. When you get, you get a class in some studies about some obscure subject, there's nobody going to hire you to do that.
Underwater basket weaving.
Oh, but I won't get into. There are things I could say here. I might get in trouble for mentioning it. But there are study programs out there that are very social.
Yeah, well, women's studies. You have a PhD in women's studies.
The only place you'll get a job is in a think tank somewhere, or maybe you think that's a successful career, or working in, it's just so many people out there working in restaurants, waiting tables or whatever, who have these glorious degrees and $200,000 to $300,000 worth of debt, who can't get a job.
You know what's interesting? Without getting too far into the political weeds on it, I've got a couple friends, of course, that sway a little bit to the left. That's fine. And they're always complaining about the price of college. Okay, fine. That's the trendy thing to do. Great. So now that COVID has started and they're seeing that, they're all out of school now, but nevertheless, they're seeing that the colleges are still charging full price for semesters remotely. I believe they're starting to see that, hey, the fault is not the government. The fault is these colleges, and the fault is the college. I
heard a statistic that the Chinese Communist Party donated over $1.5 billion to U.S. colleges. And it's like, and people, and the one comment that somebody said who was on that podcast said, yeah, and look, it really helped them reduce tuition costs, right? Having had 3 children in college, it is a gigantic ripoff. If you are smart, you can do the junior college, community college method and get very specific training towards a specific career goal. But if you go into university now with open-ended liberal arts, don't know what I'm going to do, just kiss your money goodbye.
I did 2 years at a community college. I'm glad I did it. I don't know if I'll go and finalize my degree at some point. I don't know. After our friend Brian, he did online school, and they're now recently accredited in North Carolina, Western Governor Union, WGU. He just got his degree with them. So if I were
there are so many alternative ways to do it without going and having your kids' brains polluted at college with all kinds of other stuff they don't need to know. And it used to be you went to college to be open to new ideas, right? And to be broaden your horizons. Now it's where you go to college to get locked down in your brain.
Yeah.
I love Mike Rowe. I follow him. I know he's definitely a liberal in a lot of ways, but the man is extremely brilliant when it comes to apprenticeship programs. And I support his foundation, and the stuff he's doing is so good. He says there are so many high-paying technical jobs that are just nobody to do it. There's no welders. You can't find people to go welding.
Right.
I when I went to high school, Nick, do they still have BOCES in New York?
In certain schools, yes. I know my father went through BOCES when he was in high school. They did not. It was not offered at my school. They had it for other schools. It was not offered at mine. But my father went through BOCES, and he learned all of his carpentry skills from that.
Yep.
And even to this day. I mean,
I wish I was told my guidance counselor, oh, no, you're college material. You don't want to go to BOCES. Because I wanted to be an electrician. I thought about that would be great. I'll go to be an electrician. If I did that now, I mean, I think about now. I was lucky. I didn't get a degree. I went to school for a while, on and off. I've taken classes even after I was working in programming and accounting and other things that helped.
You don't have a degree, Spence?
No.
Interesting. I didn't know that.
No, I got hired by IBM just before they stopped requiring people to have 4-year degrees.
Interesting.
So I have a lot of credits in different places.
Yeah.
But I think based on one time I added up the number of hours I had in training just at IBM, and it was over 3,000 hours. So I have, through the courses I took at IBM, network design, I went to public speaking courses. I did courses, just you name it. I went every class I could take in product and technology. I went to a supercomputing class down in Dallas one time, where the first thing they did when they walk in the class is says, "Okay, tell us about yourself. List your advanced degrees." And I'm like, I don't have one. So I wrote, I said undergraduate studies in, and I kind of made it look better. The guy I was sitting next to was a sales guy who was there for the course, and we just happened to be in the same building where we were being housed, and we shared a car. So I got to know. We have dinner and all that stuff. And I said, "So when they asked you about the university thing," he said, "What did you put down?" He goes, "BWU." Oh, and I said, "What's that?" He goes, "Bow Wow University." He says, "I never went to college." He was recruited from the Vermont plant to go. They had to call it back to sales program or something. They took candidates and made them into salespeople. So they sent them through like a 1-year training school.
Yeah.
That was the equivalent of getting an associate's degree to become salespeople. He says, "I don't have a college degree." He says, "Forget about it. Don't let that bother you. These people are just getting off on showing off what they have." He says, "You have practical skills. That's why you're here."
Yeah.
And it's like, that was just opened my eyes at that time to the whole situation.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to, I'm a relatively humble individual, and I think I'm 23, and my practical experience versus my school experience is unbelievable. I mean, really it is. The amount of stuff that I've had the opportunity to physically touch and do with, help from you, Spence, and Amnon and Mike and Gal, and being able to touch and actually do is.
You probably
I could go to school
don't
for
want to work at a place.
I go to school for 20 years. I wouldn't have touched these things. I mean, I moved just in the radio work. I moved the radio station twice, put a new transmitter on the air. I mean,
you don't go to school for that.
No, absolutely not.
You know what, Nick? Just, and I know you won't ever get caught up in this whole thing where you'll go to work for somebody that doesn't appreciate, but that's looking for paper.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
Because you go there and it's just a bunch of people patting each other on the back.
Yeah.
With, "Oh, I have this advanced degree and I'm going to go back for my next advanced degree." I have the equivalent of a minimum of a master's degree because of all the stuff I've done and studied.
Yeah.
And I'm very proud of that. And I tell people, I am not self-taught, but I am not college educated.
Right. Which is fine. They taught you what they needed you for.
Yep. I mean, I've been on the advisory board for startup companies.
Yep.
I mean, the things that I've done without having a degree. I have another close friend of mine, same situation. He was the mayor of a small town upstate New York. He's on the board of a small private college in the area there because of his background. And he tells people, "I don't have a degree." Because he goes into these meetings.
Yeah.
And they thought, "What do you mean?" He goes, "Well, I don't have a degree."
Yep.
"But you've done this and you've done that." Said, "Exactly."
Well, I'll close the conversation with this. Like or hate Donald Trump, he's been pushing these alternative, work programs, trade schools, apprenticeships, big time, because he's seen it. I mean, I can only imagine how many hundreds of thousands of people he's employed through contractors over the years. A good majority of those people, maybe almost all of them, are not college educated at all. Mm-hmm. And he's got some of the most, impressive structures ever built. So he gets it. He sees it. He's been in the trenches with these people when they're building, when they're building, and see the tradesmanship for, masonry and things like that. Spence mentioned electricians, architects a little bit different, but for the other stuff with that. You look at those pictures in New York City of those guys laying the I-beams on top of the skyscrapers, eating lunch with their feet hanging off. Those guys are very, those guys were highly skilled individuals.
I have a BA in.
Yeah, no, they don't have a BA. They have a BS in drinking beer on I-beams at 400 feet in the air. I mean, that's their degree.
Yeah.
And then falling into the cement pit.
I won the I-beam balance test. Balance contest.
Yeah, I mean, these guys are like literally hanging off beams, eating bologna sandwiches.
Yeah.
I've been in the trades since 2013 when I got out of technology, and I've met many, many, many people, all different kinds of trades. Some are not so good, but for the most part, a lot of them are really good at what they do. And if they start a company, if they have a job working for a company where they have a critical skill, they do very well.
Well, and one more thing to that to know, even if you don't turn it into a career, I look at my father, for example, who went through those programs, and he was in, he doesn't have a college degree, but that is irrelevant to the work. That just being able to be handy is just a useful skill in general, even if you don't turn it into a career. Being able to build a desk like he did for me, or, you can save tens of thousands. You'll save hundreds of thousands of dollars over your life by being able to just plan that stuff and figure it out yourself.
I hope that I can do this, but for the last couple of years, I've been trying to think of, well, I'm physically getting to the point where I want to do what I do anymore. I'm tired of crawling around crawl spaces and attics and under sinks and stuff. I would like to have some way to train kids how to use tools.
There you go. Thought about it.
I said, even if it's just, a classroom setting where everybody gets a vacuum cleaner and you take it apart and put it back together again. Right. This is the stuff that they need to see. They need to be exposed to this stuff to see that, hey, I'm good with tools. And
Spence, there's a serious opportunity there. I mean, I don't know how serious you are about it, but there's a group in Wilmington called Kids Making It, and it's a very similar situation to what you're describing. It's called Kids Making It, and it's more of a, I think they focus more on carpentry stuff, but it's kids making things. They're building things, and that it's a non. I assume it's a non-for-profit. I don't know all that much about them, but I've met the guy a couple times, and he, very much similar to you, I presume has a long history of doing these things, and now he's like, hey, this is what I want to do, and he focuses on inner city kids, and it's called Kids Making It. It's a great little
Kids
program.
Making It. I'm gonna
check them out.
I was thinking about where I could go to try to get sponsorship, and
they're all over the place.
Everything I thought of, it's one of those things. I get excited about it for a while, and then I get busy.
Yeah.
But I thought about Habitat for Humanity might be a place to go.
Yeah.
Where they might even be willing to provide a space to do it in. But I thought about it. I said I have to write a business plan.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I just can't just say I have this great idea and they go, okay, so how's it work?
Yeah.
Thank goodness I have all that experience as an instructor in building classes, so I can come up with something. But I gotta trial it first.
Well, something even as simple as replacing the fill valve in a toilet. I did that for the first time a couple weeks ago. It's not that complicated.
No.
But people pay a plumber $300, $400. And I'm not saying plumbers shouldn't be paid. That's not what I'm saying. But it's a $12 fill valve.
Yeah.
And
my
I
daughter,
got water all over the floor because I'm a stupid jackass. But nevertheless, I figured it out, and then it was replaced.
My daughter wants me to create a YouTube channel with simple 5 to 7 minute videos targeted at young people on, okay, your toilet's running. Here's how you fix it. Okay, you want to replace a light switch? Here's how you do it.
No, I don't mean to discourage you, Spence, but that stuff already exists.
Oh, I know it does.
Doing it in person is the way to go. That's the key.
I realize that, but she keeps saying that's a place to go. And I look out there and I look at that stuff and I would give it maybe 50% of it is of any value.
Yeah.
There's so much nonsense and outright bad information out there. People talking about stuff they know nothing about or recommending things. I'm going, I would never do that.
Right.
That's so stupid.
Yeah. It's useful to be handy. I'm hoping I'll grow more into that skill, but it's nice to be handy.
You've taken a good first step, owning a house.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
nice.
got a house when I was 22 years old, and it was a abandoned home.
A
that was
real
offered-
fixer-upper.
Oh my
real
God! It was a homestead. It was.
Oh,
but it was a
really?
home.
Modern
that had
homesteading.
been-
Okay.
They had houses in this town out in Islip, Long Island, that were foreclosed by FHA.
Mhm.
The economy at the time was really bad, and these houses were sitting empty and being vandalized. So the town, with help from the federal government, took these houses and awarded them to people to fix up. And if you lived there for 5 years and removed all the code violations, you were deeded the property. So we got this house. We paid $410 for the $10 for the house, $400 into the program, and they arranged a line of credit for us so we could borrow to have things done. And I took a house that literally had holes in the walls, had no plumbing,
Oh my God.
no heating system, needed everything basically, and had been vandalized. And 6 years later, I sold it, and I think we were into it for about $13,000. So I was able to take that money, and that became a down payment when I moved upstate. But I taught myself plumbing, I taught myself electrical, I taught myself roofing. I already knew how to do roofing.
And I remember, not everybody can. Not everybody.
No, but you
teach
can
themselves,
be
but
a
it's-
participant. You can participate in it if you can
Yeah.
find somebody who's willing to work with you. That's another thing I thought about offering, was to say, but I just think about the liability of this would be to say, okay, there's so many things on your honey-do list that you don't want to do that are really not hard. How about you hire me to come in and I'll work with you to do the list? I'll show you how to do everything. It's going to take longer. I understand that. You're going to pay more because I'm going to be there longer.
Let me get a real man in here to do this
But
for
I'll
you.
show you, okay, this thing that you were like, I don't know what to do about, is not that hard to
How do you
fix.
replace a light bulb?
Yeah. You need 6 people, right?
Yeah, that'll be
So-
$25. Thank you.
Yeah.
No,
But
I
I
agree.
mean,
I agree,
yeah,
Spence.
yeah.
I would very much like to explore that with you a little bit, because I'm of the age of people that I'm not completely useless, but I don't have anywhere near the experience on stuff like you have. That's something that really
But you can pick
piques
it up.
my interest. Yeah, well, with somebody like
yeah.
Spence or
That would be
you know,
even
yeah,
faster.
yeah,
Yeah.
very, very, very intriguing.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right.
So
Well, that was a cool little conversation.
It's that time of day again.
Yeah, I got to go start college in a little bit, so we got to get out of here.
Oh,
11:30
before
my
we
class
go,
starts.
I had one of those, how am I going to do this moments around the house.
Yeah.
Particularly Sam, when you just sit there and you have to figure it out. Was going to replace the sink in our kitchen. And it doesn't sound like it's such a big deal. But the countertop and sink we had was a solid surface, and the sink was built into the countertop as one piece. And it just, over time, it just got all discolored and we didn't like it anymore. And I want to put it in a stainless steel sink. And I had to figure out how to cut out the opening.
And it was
And-
made of,
Solid surface, meaning like corian was the thing that people used to get, right?
Mhm.
This is what they call it. It's a thick version. It's what they had before. Granite was becoming popular, but
Right.
quartz is an aggregate. Quartz is made out of like composite material. It's very strong. It holds up better than. But this was what people were putting in.
I mean, it's
15
not,
years ago.
it's not soft material.
No, it usually comes in
Right.
thick sheets,
Yeah.
and they fabricate it.
Right.
And so I'm like, how do I cut this out? And how do I cut it out? And I can't take the countertop out. So I had to come up with, and I discovered a tool that somebody had given me years ago, a Dremel tool that was like a little mini saw that was perfect. I mean, I was thinking, how am I going to cut? I have to go in there with my oscillating tool and like put in barriers so I don't go past it. And it was like, it turned out this job I thought was going to take me all day took me about 2 hours from the time I started cutting it out. But planning took me 4 hours to try to lay out the template and to put it in, make sure everything was going to clear, that the new faucet head wouldn't touch the windowsill, and that there was enough room in the front for me to put the clips in. And just, it was literally one of those things where I had to sit down with paper and measure and check and check and check and check before I actually cut this. And then I cut the first hole and I'm like, I'm committed. If I can't fix this, it's a new countertop. So
So you did
it
it.
worked.
That's what
It's in.
matters. Yep. All right, guys. So, thanks, Spence.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, thank you.
No, thank you.
Anything else that you wanted to add?
No, thanks for lunch on Friday.
Oh, yeah, it was fun. Yeah.
Boyga at Amnon's.
Spence, Gal, Nick were here for lunch on Friday. That was a lot of fun. Okay. Well, good morning, Kathy, Hannah, Nabil, Mac, Norm, Katie and Donna, Dina, Arlette. Thank you, everybody, for tuning to Computers 2K Now. We hope you enjoyed and maybe learned. Why are you looking at me like that?
I don't, because you're laughing.
Because I screwed up. I punched the wrong. I hope you learned something from our time together. Remember to practice safe computing. Back up your hard drive and update your virus scanner. We'll be back here next Sunday at 9, but you can always reach us at computers2know.com. And you're doing a show tonight.
If you let me leave at a decent hour.
I'm going to let you leave at a decent hour. You can listen to Nick tonight at 7 Eastern at atnshow.com. Against the Norm, ATN. And if you're in Wilmington, you can listen to it on 106.7 FM, Wilmington Big Talker. See you, everybody.
You are tuned to the Nissan Communications Network. If you tuned in too late, you can always watch each program in its entirety or download an MP3 audio file of it in the archives section at nissancommunications.com. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Twitter, and like us on Facebook. Sponsored by Telestream's Wirecast software, StreamingGear.com, Carolina Apparel, and DeltaForce.net.